Hope you guys are ready. Season's starting, in case you're wondering. Clayton, you ready back there? Yeah, you got it? Okay, wired. It's an exciting time. You know, we finally get to the football season, and it's amazing that we do so much just to start, you know, and it's an amazing build-up. It's been good. Looking forward to playing at home in the opener, playing in front of the 12s and all that's great. The Bengals are a team for us that we have to figure out as the game goes on, you know, because they're brand new. They could do anything on offense and defense, and you know, we have some thoughts and all, but we won't really know until we get there. So it's a game we have to be ready to adjust and you know, make sure that we stay ahead of it the best we can. But so we're looking forward to getting going, and I hope you are too.
You mentioned the game at home. It's always a home field advantage, but to have that in week one, what does that do, either to set the tone for the season or just the advantage coming out of the gates?
Well, it's just our first chance, you know. It's the only chance we got, so it happens to be at home. Last year it seemed like it took a long time to get home, you know, so we are appreciating the fact that we get to start it off. Anytime we get to play here, it's great for us. It's as fun as it gets in football. Our fans are awesome, and I know they'll come out cranking. And we'll need them, and hopefully we can light them up with our play. You know, I don't expect them to light us up. I expect us to light them up, and I know they know how to return it. So can't wait.
You talk about the linebackers a bunch, how excited you are, and now with the defensive line, you get Ziggy healthy, you bring in Clowney in, just that whole front seven and how they can play off each other.
Yeah, it's really been an area of focus. Although we haven't had the time on the field with our guys are still really new at it in playing together. KJ and Bobby just got back together, and of course Mike's new for them. But to put those guys out there first, that's something that was really exciting. Looking towards the season. Cranked about that, but then we go ahead and mix up what we got up front. Hopefully we can play some really good football. It's going to take us a while to get to our best. We're so new. It's just brand new guys, you know. So we'll see how it goes, but our expectations will be really high as we move forward. And like right now, we just got to get to playing football and see where we are and make some assessments as we go. There'll be not just their assessments of what they're doing. We got to figure out what we're doing some too. So it'll be an exciting opener.
When you guys are so young at so many spots and new, as you said, how much extra time are you going to spend on things like substitution, communication, things like that?
Yeah, we've been on everything. You know, we've been together. We've got enough time. We should be well schooled. There's always some glitches here and there that you can't foresee, but this is a really bright group. They've really been focused and tuned into it. You know, the guys that are going to get a lot of the special teams work, those linebackers and some of the young DBs and all. Those are guys we're concerned about first time, you know, when they're going to have to play a whole game. But they've done really well during the preseason, and we know a lot about those guys right now because they've been so active and they've done a good job. So we're counting on them coming through and filling the spots, and hopefully we can minimize the issues.
When you traded Frank, could you have imagined at the time that it would have worked out as well as it did with
sure.
Ziggy and
Precisely, I had this totally in mind. I had this one wired, yeah. Not exactly, no, I'm kidding. Maybe John was the dreamer at that time that thought that something could come. But, we're pretty optimistic around here, you know. We're thinking things are going to work out. And Ziggy was a really big get for us with Frank going out the door, and we had to wait so long for Ziggy to get ready to go that we weren't really, you know, we didn't feel the impact of that much at this point. So that starts happening, you know, in game one. But to also come up and get Jadeveon to add to it. You know, that's a real boost. And, you know, I've said before that any coach in the history of football is looking for a pass rusher going into week one, you know, and if you could find a way to get a guy. I mean, since UOP, I've been thinking about that. So for this to happen here in this situation is really exciting, and hopefully we can make the most of it.
You guys have brought in...
UOP was the University of the Pacific, in case you guys don't know.
You guys have brought in guys via trade, either right at the start of the season, mid-season with Dwayne, Sheldon, Justin Cohen. How far can they get in a week's time? Generally, how does he get?
It depends a little bit on the position, and certainly it depends on the development of the guy, if he's ready or not. We're not going to over-expect here, you know, as we haven't in the past. I think Coleman played the whole game, I think, at nickel, so he was in, you know, a good portion of the game, 40% of the game or whatever. So it just depends, you know, with our guys. But hopefully we're making progress. You know, we hope we make progress through the game and then get to game two and continue to make progress as we go. I don't think we're anywhere near where we will be with those guys. So we'll just take off and see what happens and adjust as we go and learn them as they learn us and hopefully make really good decisions along the way and make progress.
What's the reasonable expectation, Pete, for how long Clowney and Hansen can play on Sunday?
You know I'm not answering that question. It was a good try anyway. You can get wait and see.
Coach, you mentioned trying to figure out the Bengals. How much were you drawing what Zach Taylor did in LA, and what is he special?
It's one of the big, the big elements of his background, and it's significant. That's why he's got the job, and all that. So I'm sure they hired him thinking that that's what they're getting too, But we still got to see it. Has a wide experience behind him, and he's done a lot of stuff. And of course we're trying to decipher every step of the way in preseason, but they did a really good job to stay really straight and didn't show you much. So we're just going to have to wait and see what their kind of interpretation of that offense was through Zach's eyes. And he's a great ball coach, and I'm sure he wants to make a big impression. He's going to come out and show us what he's all about. So we'll have to figure it out when the game comes.
Will DK be on a snap count?
Who?
Will DK be on a snap count?
Geez, I guess we're going to have to wait and find out.
What's the status of your nickel position for Sunday?
Good. It's good. Status is good. Yeah, we'll wait and see.
How close is Mike
Still competing.
to practicing? Mike Iupati, how close
Mike
is he to
Upati?
practicing?
Mike we just went through the walkthrough with us, so we'll see how he goes one day at a time. I can't tell yet. I always go back to how they respond to the day. He hasn't been out with us, so we'll see what happens. I really don't know yet. Just take one day at a time.
Is DK practicing today?
DK.
Yes.
With the
DK
front,
Metcalf, right?
yeah, DK
Yeah.
Metcalf. With the front seven, without having Sharon there, how do you feel about the tackle, just kind of the tackle spot and kind of how that rotation is going to work? For
Yeah,
these?
well, you've been watching them, and we're really excited about what Puna's been doing, and he's had a great camp, and he's looked, right on it. I think he's going to do a fine job for us. What I really like about what Al Woods has done is he's played big and played solid and really given us good effort. That's all we've ever hoped for out of that three technique position. I mean, go back over the years, there's been a bunch of big guys that have been there and have filled a really good role for us, and Al's right there. Al seems to be more active than maybe some of the guys, and I mean, he's learned it, and he's been a great guy on the team in the meeting room, locker rooms, and all that. So I think we're going to be real strong. And you'll see some movement, some rotations in there as we go. But counting on those two guys to be the starters and get us rolling.
Speaking of the tackle spot, what have you seen in Brian Monet? He's the only undrafted guy to make the team. I guess what have you seen in him as a
He's been really consistent for a young guy coming. We didn't put him in any situations he hasn't played before. We really tried to bank on what he's done in the past. He was a very, very effective college player, and they played great run defense where he came from in Michigan and all. And so we've just asked him to do what he's good at, and he's huge, and he plays big and strong and tough. He's had some big plays in crucial situations. He's come through with really good technique and a clarity of effort and stuff at the right time, to get in the backfield and make some crucial plays in short yardage. And also, we don't have any problem playing him. He's going to be in the game rotating.
We'll go over John Ursua getting any run as returners, either punt or kick.
Have to wait and see.
How would you characterize where Russell is as he enters year 8? What areas could he even get better in?
Yeah, well, Russ is the best he's ever been. There's no question. He's the smartest, the farthest along, the most aware, the most in control. We had a great year last year in controlling the offense, and he's just another step towards more of that. And that just makes us more efficient. It should keep us out of bad plays. It should put us in good plays. He has a lot of freedom to do stuff within the system. He had a fantastic offseason of conditioning and throwing and all of that. It's shown all the way through camp and through all of the offseason work. So he's ready to play his best football. I've always said one of these years Russ is going to complete 70% of his passes, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is his next shot. We'll see what happens. But so how much better can he get? I think let's just go 1 year at a time here. See if we can get him ready to play this time.
How much is that year with Shoddy showing up when from where they were?
Yeah, the communication is really good. The familiarity is excellent. Probably more than anything, Brian knows Russ better, and he knows what he can do and how he does stuff and how he thinks and operates and functions and all of that, so that he's been able to throughout the offseason adjust things to fit strengths that we have, but it's been they're really in the midst of a really strong relationship, and it's really figuring to be a real positive for us.
The benefit overall of having all of your core coaches together, because with the Bengals, it's not just the head coach, but 16 of the 23 coaches are new. You don't have that, so in some ways,
Dang, got it. We could have had that. Let's see here. It's the first time around is challenging. It's really challenging. And it doesn't mean that you don't have success or you do have success. It's just really challenging because everything's happening for the first time. Decisions that you make, the observations, the analysis, evaluations, it's all first time, and then you don't know until you see what happens with your choices and stuff you make. So it's you gotta give these guys a chance to get rolling. That doesn't mean that you can't be successful early. You can, and obviously Sean did a great job down in LA and proved that. And he's been very instrumental for a lot of guys, and that he's shown that a young guy can go in there and put it together and be very successful. But we're in a much different situation. We do have a real depth and a breadth of experience together, and we've been through so many things that does help, and so it facilitates the decision making and the analysis and the sharing of information to evaluate where we are, what we're doing, and all that. It's really important for us, so we're going to try to bank on that.
Defensive priorities have always been to have a strong secondary, deny the deep ball, and force the opponent into being one-dimensional. This year, the strength's front seven. How different is that for you coaching?
Well, I'm surprised that you're that far off of what that's always been. It's always been a stop the run first, always. And that's where we begin. And the next aspect of it is making sure they can't score easily, which is exactly what you addressed. It's the same in our thinking, and I think that's football. If people can run the football, it's too easy, and they don't get in situations where they jeopardize the ball and all that, and clock and all those things. So it starts up in the middle, up front, and then from there on we spread it. I don't feel it's any different, but to have both Ziggy and Jadeveon on our team, that's different. That's a unique matchup right there. It's very much where we were maybe with Clem and Cliff, or and Mike and Cliff back in the day. We really felt like we had guys that really could do something off the edge and fly up the field and all that. These guys have the ability to do that, and we got to develop it. And it's got to happen. We got to bring it to life and all that. But they have a chance, and so. It's really exciting, the prospects of what it could be like. We got to do a great job of coaching them and teaching them properly so that we don't try to do too much too soon and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on, but it's most promising, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't see any problems with it.
Coach, you said the other day that you're fired up for CJ being healthy.
Yeah.
Reversing that, looking back, and this is not blaming him at all, but how frustrating was it for you having to sort of wait for that, because you believed in him so much and he kept getting injured,
It has been frustrating, really. I mean, think of him first. No one cares about what I'm thinking. But I can handle frustration. But for the young guy trying to play the game, and he only has so many years you can play it and all that, it's been really hard on him. But his mentality and his stick to it has been there all along, and so. Now that he has kind of resurfaced into the mix of it all, it's an exciting opportunity for him. We've got a good room. It's a really good running back room, and we really like our guys. And there's only so many times you can give the ball to guys. So guys are going to have to compete and battle and keep on it to take advantage of the opportunities as they come. But it has been frustrating because I love what he brings your team, because he's so versatile and so explosive. And that's why I was so thrilled just to see him finally get a chance to show it again. And okay, CJ's back, and now we'll figure out how to mix him in.
Do you have images of Reggie Bush too in your mind at all? And what you had a player like that at USC that was dominant?
Yeah, Reggie was Reggie. But he does have that kind of dynamic though, that he can be the pass catcher and the receiver out of the backfield and all of that, as well as the runner. Very similar in that regard. The other guy returned punts and kickoffs and everything. So yeah.
Will LJ play Saturday or Sunday?
We'll wait and see how the week goes here. He's going to get some practice work in today. He did some stuff on Monday, so we're just going one step at a time with him. I don't know yet. He did look good, and he looked like he was on his way to roar back in this mix of this thing. It'll be fantastic to have him back in the competition of it, but I can't tell you what's going to happen at the end of the week yet.
You mentioned for a couple of years getting Russell to 70%, kind of the next step in his evolution. Is there anything that you want to be better at, that you kind of look at yourself and say, I want to do this better or that better?
There's so many good answers right there. Of course. I mean, I have applied myself in this off season as much as I can ever remember. it really takes me back to whatever year it was that we were playing that Rose Bowl game against Texas. That whole year, when you just could so clearly see that you have the chance to have a great run at it again. I felt like that ever since we've come off of last season, and it's just drawn me into it. And it's not like I'm trying harder. I'm not trying any harder. I just feel like it's just been. I think all of the elements and kind of what we were talking about, the experience of our staff and the relationship of our staff, our ability to communicate at a really high level, the shared experiences that we have allows me to function at a higher level, and I've been flying, I've been flying, and in all aspects of what we're doing, and it's just been a blast. And so I'm really, really pumped about getting going. And I know maybe I probably said that up here before, but I mean, I feel like this is like the first time around, and I can't wait to get started.
What's it like preparing for Zach and a new head coach in his first game out, and trying to figure out exactly what he's going to do and what they're going to bring to the table this week?
Well, it's a big challenge. It's a good challenge too, because of the style of offense that we have to face in our division as well. So there's been a lot that's gone into it. If the style is similar, then we know we got a number of games that would be within the same format. So we have been able to really zero in on that thought, and we'll see what happens. But there's just an unknown. You just don't know till you get there, and so that's all. First games are like that because people can change and adjust things. This was a little bit more out there because you don't know, you haven't seen them. So preseason was not much. I don't think much of a tell to what's happening.
Bengals are without AJ, but with Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon, are those still guys who can give you problems?
Yeah, those guys got a lot of talent. Now, Joe's a really good football player. He can do everything. He can really run, catch, block. He can do it all. And Giovanni's good too. He's a heck of a player. I've always liked the way that guy plays since his Carolina days. And John Ross comes back. They have great speed. You can't get any faster than John. So tight ends catch the ball really well, make plays down the field. They've already shown that in preseason. Andy knows what he's doing. He knows the game, and he can really make you look bad. So we're up against it, and they have an advantage. They know what they're doing, and we don't. So we'll see if we can neutralize that.
When you talk about your excitement sort of for the season, when you look at the roster specifically, what is it about that kind of makes you excited about where this team can go?
Well, it's been the whole time. It's just been their attitude. It's been these guys. These guys they're making this happen. Their energy and their juice for it. The really connected feeling I have with the leadership of this team too. From all the guys that are the captains coming back, but also Dwayne and Locke and all the guys, McDougal, those guys we know so well. That has felt really strong, a strength of ours. Knowing that there's going to be some young guys involved, that makes you feel secure that the messages will get clearly passed. I mean, KJ is an incredible leader for these guys. So it's just all of those things combined that have made it what it is.
Jadeveon had talked a few times about being excited to play strictly end in a 4-3 as opposed to 3-4 dropping into coverage. Can that free a guy up mentally?
He's looked in the first day. He looked really good out covering the curl flat area. I thought, I was surprised a little bit about his ability to do that. But what were you asking about that?
He talked about just being able to go forward and not have to drop into coverage. I don't know. Maybe he's going to have to do some of that. But if a guy can only focus on that thing, can that be sort of freeing mentally?
Yeah, I think he probably said that pretty clearly. He likes to rush the passer, and he wants to get off the ball and get after it. And I like that too. So we really see eye to eye on that. So yeah, it can be a good thing. I'm hoping it is.
In addition to getting stronger, what has Ethan Posick improved at?
Yeah, he's become more powerful. Just like he's gaining some old man strength here about playing a few years. He's just in general, he holds up better and pass protection. He's always been a really good ball player and been aggressive and all, but it seems like he's kind of harnessed a new level of power for himself, and it shows up. So he's ready to go. If he plays in the whole game, I'm fine. Feel very comfortable with that. He's played with our guys a lot. They got the experience, and also we'd love to have Mike back, but if we don't get him, then we're in good shape.
Guys like Atkins and Dunlap up front, is that a pretty good early test for your line?
Yeah, they're really good, really good. Gino's always been a good player. He can make things happen, run and pass. The big fella on the edge, man, he's hard to deal with. He's big and long and tough and all that. And they play him really in the right, it looks like the right manner, He's a problem. No problem.
How do you assess maybe where he is kind of headed into this year than last year when he kind of
really in command of what's going on? Yeah, he's really confident, great communicator. He's been a great kid in the program. You know, I'd like to see him, you know, get around that ball and, you know, make his plays like we've seen him in the past. I didn't think he was as active last year, numbers-wise and all that. I hope that, you know, just being in the right place, us speeding the ball up a little bit, you know, will give him a chance to be more active because he is a playmaker, and we're kind of hoping that's going to come through.
What are you hoping to see from Rashad Penny to start the season?
I'm hoping to see him compete to be the best runner in the program. You know, I want to see him be great. I've told him that a couple different times. You know that he should be going for it in every phase of our game, and you know, he's talented, he's explosive, he's in great shape, he's the smartest he's ever been, he can catch the football, his pass protection has improved, every aspect of his game is at its best, so I have the highest of expectations for him, and you know, I would talk exactly the same way for Chris and let these guys have at it, you know, and there's plenty of chances for those guys to battle back and forth, and we'll go in the direction that we need to go in, you know, based on how they perform and all that. So I have really high expectations. It's all part of our mentality about the running game. We need these guys, and so let's let the games begin, you know, see what happens.
With Clowney, Pete, the sack numbers get all the attention, but what makes him a good run stopper? What's his aspect?
He's really disruptive, and because he's a very instinctive player. He penetrates and forces issues for you, very much like Michael Bennett did. Mike was really a problem, and it was an unpredictable problem. You know, hopefully, you know, we can see some of that element from JD, you know, in our style of stuff. But it's this tremendous length, the ability to reach and get in the backfield and you know, and make things happen that other guys isn't available to them. You know, it's what's pretty exciting is to see he and Ziggy, because they're both about the same dynamics and same stature and dimensions and all that, and it's really exciting to see what may happen. You know, if we can get those guys to turn it loose.
You guys are captains this week, correct?
Yeah.
Just the three guys that you chose.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner returns as a defensive captain. You know, our players vote for our captains. I don't know how many years in a row it is, but he's a great leader and he's the obvious guy, and it's like a no-brainer. He's the voice, he's the action, he's all of it. You know, Russell returns offensive captain. Same. You know, he's awesome as the guy that leads the program. He's calling every play. He's taking every snap forever. He's on it. Both those guys care so much about what's going on around them and the people that they can help and reach out to. They're incredible leaders. Nico Thorpe has just been the spirit of the special teams for a number of years now, and it's great that the guys recognize him again. He's got a great presence in our room and with our guys, and so we have those guys are incredible leaders for us. Thrilled to have them. But there's other guys too, which you know we know of, and you can only pick a few, and so those guys will do a great job.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Thank you.